In this video, I'm going to tell you about one of the worst things that has happened to e-mountain bikes, and I'm going to tell you about one of the best that has happened to e-mountain bikes as well. All right? What, in my opinion, is one of the worst things that has happened to e-bikes? It is the introduction of Sram AXS to e-mountain bikes, as we see here. You know, most of the e-mountain bikes that I've got in the past 2 years have had the Sram AXS system. Shimano is available as well, but it was in such short supply that most of the e-mountain bikes would have, on the high end, would have Sram AXS Eagle. And why was it bad? So Sram AXS has been really cool for cross-country bikes, for installation, maintenance, you know, no cables. So it's really been good at that. But what it really offered was fast, crisp shifting. So if you're a cross-country racer or an endurance racer, this was the gift, God's gift to you, because boom, 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 shifts fast, really fast, and not a lot of effort. So that's where it really added benefit to the mountain biker. But for the e-mountain biker, ease of installation was not an issue because you don't install your e-mountain bike components yourself. You know, it's just not done. And the real advantage, the speed, was actually a huge detriment to e-mountain bikers. Why? Because, you know, it shifted too fast. It shifted too fast for the motors. You know, especially when you're on trail mode or on turbo mode, that shifting was just bam, bam, bam. That firing was not compatible with e-mountain bike motors. All right. And the other thing is you lost the feel. Usually, you know, with the cable, you could see when the thing was resisting, when it didn't want to shift because it was just too much power, like, you know, 200 watts plus 600 watts was too much power for the system. You could feel it. On the SRAM system, you just couldn't feel it. It would just fire at will. And you could hear just the chain pop, explode, or when it made that snapping noise like pow, like, oh, someone's gonna break a chain. And sure enough, a couple months later, one of your buddies has a broken chain. So it was really not compatible with e-mountain bikes. And you really had to train yourself. You could say, oh, rookie mistake. You can't shift under power. Well, the thing is, e-mountain bikes are always under power, especially when you're going up, right? And even when you let up, there's something called overrun. You know, it could be going still for a quarter second, a half second, especially in turbo mode. So basically what I told everyone was like, when you're in turbo, don't even shift. Don't even think about shifting. So you had to retrain yourself, and you really lost the full benefit of the e-mountain bike because of the shifting system was just too fast, had no feel. And then there's a whole other problem, which is you run out of battery on the shifting. Your rides are so long, or you ride so much that you run out of battery. But I have a solution for that, other than checking your battery every level. Let's do a 180. And what's the best thing that's ever happened to e-mountain bikes? It is the Sram AXS T-type transmission. All right. So from the worst to the best. Why? Because I'm seeing this a lot, and we're talking about GX here. The introduction of GX into T-type transmission is just a godsend. What you want is GX. This is XO, I think. What you want is GX. It's about $950 to $1,100 for this system, and what it brings to the table is shifting under power. So it's got a lot more strength into it, especially with this flat top chain. And what it really brings to the table is shifting under power. Basically, it slowed the shift down. This thing is feeling out the system, so it has that touch. It's automatic, and it doesn't shift as fast. It doesn't fire like a rapid fire. Basically, it waits till it's ready, just like Shimano, but even more so, and then it shifts. And basically, I've been riding T-type now on e-bikes, both mid-power and full power, for about 3 months, and it's like, wow, this is the full potential of the e-bike and transmission systems. Is like you can just ride naturally. You know, let off when you need to shift. Sometimes you get caught, you're not able to let off, and the system will handle it. And it is such a godsend. It's really changed the dynamic of shifting. So some of my friends were like, should I switch to SRAM AXS, the old type? I go, no, don't. You know, especially on e-bike. But now I'm telling them, if you're on the old one, yeah, shift to the new one. Or change over to the new one, upgrade, because it's so good. It's so much better. So I think it has feel. It kind of searches for itself, you know, when it's under load. And then basically it really waits till it's ready and makes a deliberate shift. And man, it's made all the difference in the world. So very cool. Also, they have a new type of shifter now. The old shifter was a little hard to fit most hands, and it's still not perfect, but at least now you have 3 variations of the shifter. And the fact that they put out GX so early on, you know, 1100 instead of 2200 means, okay, we're good, we can afford that. And it's not the high end, because you don't want the high end on an e-bike. It just wears out the drivetrain. And my teaser, the biggest problem of these systems is the battery management. So the battery is right here. And the problem with these batteries is you can check it before every ride and you're good to go. The problem with them though, but you know, who wants to do that, right? So basically what the problem with them is they have no fuel gauge. You don't know how full or how empty they are. You know, all you know is they run out between a couple weeks and like a few months of use. So you don't know really. So what you do is you press the button. Green means it's over 20% and red means it's under 20%, but it's very limited. And so many of my friends, maybe 20 times already, have run out of this battery. And there's a few reasons for that. The couple reasons are when it's sitting by itself, it's draining the battery. It's draining the battery with a motion sensor. It's feeding a motion sensor, because when you move it, it's when it wakes up. So it has to be listening to have that. And it's a few months for that to happen, but it's always draining the battery. The other thing, and the even more important issue, is when you move it, it's awake for a while. And so when you go to Tahoe, when you go on a lot of NICA racers, this happens to, because they drive to the destination, right? As soon as the car starts going, it's draining the battery. You're supposed to take this out and you're supposed to cover it to keep it from shorting. This whole rigmarole, like, oh my God, what a pain. So the real solution is you can have a Garmin that shows you the battery from 1 to 0, from 1 to 100%. You could, on your Levo, if you have a mission control, you could program it so it tells you the battery level of this thing from 1 to 100%. But the real solution is you carry one of these in your pack. So you buy an extra one, you carry in your pack always, and you just ride as you need to ride, and then when it runs out, you have one in your pack. And really, in my groups, we always have 1 or 2 in the pack, and they're always used. So you could say it's user error, but I would say it's a little bit of a design limitation, that you have a battery that always runs out, that you have to check before every ride, and you can't tell the battery level easily. All right, so there you go. Basic premise. I think it's one of the worst things for e-bikes and one of the best. So I really commend SRAM, even though this might seem like non-complimentary, from doing a turnaround from the worst system for e-bikes to the best system for e-bikes. Just like that. And it's not that expensive. All right? Thanks a ton, everybody.